The state of the US economy has steadily deteriorated over the past 2 years, and millions of Americans have never recovered financially from the economic downturn. Additionally, they have been dealing with the highest consumer prices and rising living expenses. The US economy is currently in a complete mess, and in today's video, we're going to expose several reasons why things have gone south. We've compiled some significant indicators that show things are going off the rails in America once again because the majority of young American business owners and financial experts don't see things improving anytime soon. Before you check out the list though, support us by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel so you don't miss our upcoming lists. The first 3 months of 2022 are a big predictor of the problems to come, as the US economy has declined, marking the first significant recession since 2019 GDP. Here are 9 highly unexpected facts regarding the dysfunctional status of the US economy. Number 1. At this point, everything we buy is much more costly, and the cost of everything is going up. Common household items are still much more costly than they were a year ago. For example, last month's increase in food prices of 9.4% was the biggest 12-month increase since 1981 for meat. Fruit and vegetable prices increased by 7.8%, while the prices of poultry, fish, and eggs witnessed increases of 14.3% and 7.3% respectively. A 1% increase in utility services of 22 points. Furniture and bedding had an increase of 15%, while domestic cleaning supplies increased by 10%. Gas prices increased by 1% nationwide, rising between 37 and 47. Number 2. As of right now, according to JP Morgan Chase's co-chief US economist Michael Ferroli, growth will slow from 2.4% in the second half of this year to only 1% by the end of 2022. Goldman Sachs, which also cut their outlook in the past week, said, quote, "I don't think you can have a completely benign soft landing of the economy at this point, where inflation comes down but unemployment doesn't go up," end quote. Bank of America economists also reduced their forecasts, predicting the economy will only grow by 0.4 until the end of the year. Number 3. Between March 2021 and March 2022, Americans lost an average of 0.45% of their purchasing power per month, amounting to a loss of 5.4 as consumer prices increased by 8.5, but wage growth did not keep pace with the rate of inflation. Looking at the data, 5 Americans lost purchasing power at a faster rate over the past year than they did over the previous 10 years. Longer-term pay scale analysis suggests that since 2006, the median salaries have decreased by 9% after accounting for inflation. Number 4. Furthermore, according to the most recent New York Federal Reserve Bank survey, Americans expect inflation to remain at 4.2% over the next 3 years. However, near-term expectations for the coming year have risen to 5.4%, a new high. These expectations are important because inflation can easily turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Businesses tend to raise prices more often when customers anticipate inflation, which can lead to a price spiral. Number 5. Consumer confidence is plummeting across the board in the United States. The US Index of Consumer Sentiment is currently at a level of 58.4, down from 65.2 last month, and down from 82.9 1 year ago. This is a contraction of 10.43% from the last month and a contraction of 29.55% from 1 year ago, according to the data provided by the University of Michigan. The figure was lower than all forecasts in the Bloomberg survey of economists, which called for a median reading of 64. Number 6. The Commerce Department reported that the nation's gross domestic product decreased at an annualized rate of 1.4. Deutsche Bank analysts are warning that this slowdown is paving the way for an economic catastrophe and that a significant recession is imminent due to the sharp decline in exports, slower restocking of goods in stores and warehouses, and a significant increase in a trade deficit. The issue, as pointed out by Deutsche Bank economists in a recent report, is that while inflation is still skyrocketing, economists say it will take a long time before it falls to the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. Because this suggests the central bank will raise interest rates so aggressively that it will harm the economy, we believe it highly likely that the Federal will have to step on the brakes even more firmly and that a severe recession will be required to bring inflation to heel. Number 7. Although the rise in living expenses is a phenomenon that affects the entire country, some areas are more affected than others. For example, the CPI reports showed that the South saw an increase in prices of 9.1% over the past year, with the West trailing just behind it with an increase of 8.7%. According to calculations made by the JEC last year, the average inflation cost for household increased from about $100 in April 2021 to over $380 in January 2022. The biggest inflation rates are being felt by Americans in the mountainous states of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming, where household prices increased by more than $100 in January 2019. According to a survey by TD Ameritrade on financial disruption, nearly half of Americans, or about 47%, believe that the cost of living is the biggest threat to their financial security. Almost as many, or roughly 44%, are concerned about rising healthcare costs. Number 8. Currently, 67 families feel that their income cannot keep up with the cost of living, according to Prime America's most recent middle-income financial security monitor. A separate survey found that the average American believes that they would need an income of $86,000 to feel financially comfortable. But that no matter how much money they make, 57 of those families say their finances will always make them feel stressed. I feel like we are always preparing for disaster because Generation Z and Millennials are terrified about the economy because they haven't experienced an economic downturn before. According to a recent survey, only 28% of respondents think the country's economic downturn will improve over the next 12 months. We've witnessed hell break free so many times that the system we now use is failing us, especially said Robbie Barnhart, a 30-year-old millennial pilot, in an interview with Insider. Unfortunately, when the economy finally faces a reckoning, things in America will start to deteriorate once more. Many financial analysts already see the first signs of this happening. And lastly, number 9. A survey also showed that consumers bought 6% fewer goods in the first quarter of 2022 than they did in the same quarter of 2021. The downturn in consumer spending is already weighing on big box retailer revenues and may have repercussions for the entire economy. There are stormy skies. It is a hurricane. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, stated that the hurricane is just ahead and heading our way. However, it is unknown whether it will be a major hurricane or a superstorm. This is only the start of our problems. Things will only get worse from here. The US citizens are already starting to realize it. Have you noticed any of these changes? Please leave your comments below the video, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.